Live from Penn State's campus, this is Nittany Talk. I'm Azion Scott, and in today's episode, we will feature topics discussing Black History Month, THON, and have a special guest interview with Bellisario's Dean Marie Hardin. Now, let's get to talking. Welcome back to Nittany Talk. My co-hosts Janelle Randolph, Abby Shashut, and Jada Williams and I will be talking about a month that is very near and dear to our hearts. You guessed it, Black History Month. So, it's the best month of the year in my personal opinion as a Black person. How are we feeling, everyone?
I feel amazing. Black History Month means so much to me.
Yeah.
It's just because we only get this 1 month to really celebrate our pride and that we have in our culture and everything. So I'm enjoying my time. How about you?
I think the month should be longer. We should have multiple months, but it's okay. But there's just so much like history that like is so important. Like we were so like it's so important what we've done for this country and what we've done in like history. It's just like it's so amazing to learn about all these things. So what do you think?
I feel like they should incorporate more Black history into just like the history books and just like history classes. Like I feel like that was always kind of lacking growing up. You know?
I do agree. I love having a month. I really do. However, I just feel as if, like Abby said, it should be integrated into our everyday, like our everyday knowledge, our everyday learning. Like it should just be a staple in education because there's so much history that's just not talked about regularly at all. There's a lot of things that are swept under the rug, and we're going to get into that in this topic. So let's begin. Let's talk about some people from the past, some iconic historical figures. So I know that one of my favorites is Sojourner Truth. I don't know if you guys know about her, but she actually was one of the first womanists or feminists in Black women culture.
Oh, wow.
Okay. Yeah.
I had no idea.
Not a lot of women know about her.
Yeah,
but she wrote a poem, and it's my favorite. It's called Ain't I a Woman? And she's basically talking about the disparities and how as a Black woman, feminism is just not the same as it is for white women. And a lot of people don't know that feminism just wasn't as inclusive to Black women during the time that, and I think this was like the 1800s. Yeah, because she was a slave at a point.
Oh, wow.
So, yeah, what about you all?
Mine would be Bell Hooks, aka Gloria Watkins. She is so like, she's just all about love. She literally just is a, revolutionary feminist, and she's a theorist for radical love, which is all about unconditional love that goes beyond romantic and platonic. Like hers mostly focused on political love because she believes politics should be run with love. Because it's these things that politics is in our lives. They're making rules, making laws for us, and they need to like consider how these things are affecting other people, and they don't. So I think like it should be run with love. But that's why Bell Hooks.
What about you, Janelle?
I would say Rosa Parks.
Okay.
Yes, you know.
Icon.
She's just such an amazing person, and the fact that, you know, she just died recently is just recently. Like that's just like what she did. That it was just like not that long ago.
Isn't that incredible?
That's just it's crazy to me.
It really
because
is.
Back then, it was a big deal for her to sit in the front.
And we have to think we have grandparents that were actually like present during these times who were the same age as her when she made that trailblazing decision. So what do you think? Who's somebody that's a staple for you?
I actually have two I kind of want to bring up. First, I do have Thurgood Marshall. I learned about him, oh gosh, I think I was watching this movie and he was mentioned. So my dad wanted me to do a whole presentation on him. He was the first Black Supreme Court justice. So, you know, I feel like he really like trailblazed for future ones like Clarence Thomas and Ketanji Jackson, who recently broke the glass ceiling last year. And speaking of breaking the glass ceiling, my second one is Madam C.J. Walker, who was the first female Black self-made millionaire.
With hair products.
Love that.
Wow. She has a whole series on Netflix. I highly recommend checking it out. I feel like it was like so life-changing, especially like growing up with like black hair, like that like curly, like, you know.
That we never saw in the media at all growing up.
Literally, in the media, it was always the white beauty standard that we were all seeing as a kid, and as a like child, that was like hard for me to understand like how I could fit into that, because I'm not white, so I can't fit these beauty standards, and it was really hard to understand like that I'm pretty too, even though I don't fit these beauty standards.
And isn't that it's so crazy to me how important and like imperative representation in the media is, because
really
there's an extreme lack thereof.
Mm-hmm.
Like even me, I'm Afro-Latina, so growing up, I didn't see young girls that looked like me either. And we're watching all of these series and these shows that we just cannot relate to, but like I'm so happy that in modern day television, there's so many young black girls that look just like us, that we see everywhere.
There's a show called Dear White People.
Love that show.
On Netflix.
It is the first show that I would say I felt like really represented the Black community as like a variety. Like it showed all different types of Black people, other than the stereotypes that we know of, like Jezebel, Sapphire, and Mammy. Like those are the stereotypes that were pushed during slavery times for women to act right as a Mammy. That was the Mammy's job, for the women to act right. The Sapphire, angry Black woman, that is a stereotype we are still trying to fight. We're still trying to fight that one. You know, Kamala Harris always tee-hee, you know, she was keying. But you got...
That's my soror.
But, you know, like, and, you know, the Jezebel was to... You know, Black women always being hypersexualized, so that's what her job was. So it was just, we need to fight. I'm so happy we're fighting these stereotypes. And Dear White People, that shows so many different types of Black people in that show. I love it.
Good point, actually, because it'll be a segue into our next discussion. And it's so important, this representation, but how are we seeing this on Penn State's campus?
That's a hard question, because, so here's some statistics about Penn State. So basically, there's about 64% of students here are white, so that's more than 50%. And there's only 5.63% of African Americans here. Only five.
But as an African American student, you don't notice that divide until you get into these spaces on like THON or like a football game where you notice like I'm one of few.
Even in classrooms, like. There's only like a few of us. I would go into class and I'll be the only one.
Like, hey, that's just life.
That's just how it is.
And I've become accustomed to it, unfortunately. But that's never been my reality. I'm from New York City, so like all I know is diversity, equity, and inclusion. I grew up with it, and then we come to an environment like Penn State where it's just far and few. And then when we see other people that look just like us, I don't know about you all, but I just get like a sense of pride.
I'm just like, hey, girl.
I get so happy.
A little smile if you haven't seen them before. You know, like, I see you, I hear you, I feel you.
We see each other.
You gotta walk by them, you gotta give them a little smirk.
Yeah, exactly. And I feel like, I mean, although the Black population on this campus is so like low, I feel like a lot of organizations really come together and make us feel that community amongst ourselves.
What are some orgs that you all are involved in?
I'm involved in the Caribbean Student Association and Black Caucus. So like, you know, I sometimes like go to the events, you know, different things like that. But what are you involved in?
I was once also involved in Black Caucus, NAACP, Lotus, which is a safe space organization. We create a safe space for sexual assault victims within the BIPOC community. So yeah, like there's a ton of orgs to choose from. And I just love that we all are like inside of this bubble and we all get to know one another. It just makes the Penn State community feel so much more like home. Home away from home.
Honestly.
I agree.
But I'm a part of Lotus too, but I'm not as integral. My friend is the president, so she be telling me what you guys get up to, and she lets me know what events that she goes to. But I'm the one who usually is the filmer. I am documenting all the work that she's been doing because she's been really fighting for a lot of things that like aren't like talked about on campus. and especially in like minority spaces, there's little talk about the things that like go on, like the bad things, and there's always hidden. So I really am just like love her for that.
Well, I'm so happy to hear that we all have such a nice community here, and we're all trailblazing young women in this society, so I love to see it. That's all we have for our Black History Month recap. Stay tuned for our next segment where Ashley Mascaro will be recapping THON weekend. For Nittany Talk, I'm Azion Scott.
I mean, it's such a great job, and it's because I get to work with students all the time.
Yeah, so you just basically like stepped right in. You knew exactly what you were doing. That's awesome.
Yeah, it was fun.
So welcome back to Nittany Talk. I'm Ashley Mascaro, and we are going to be recapping the 51st annual Penn State THON. Our social media team members, Sadie Protzi and Molly Goebel, were able to be on the floor with the dancers and film some content of this iconic event.
Hey Nittany Talk, we're behind the scenes at THON, and we're so excited to show you around the floor and see some dancers.
Weekend is really one of the most eventful times of the year, not only for the students, but most importantly for the kids. This year, we as a school raised a record-setting $15,006,132.46. For our final segment of the night, we will be interviewing Marie Hardin, Bellisario's dean. So stay tuned. For Nittany Talk, I'm Ashley Mascaro.
College is a time where you get to explore, and I like to say college is the time to try things and to quit if you don't like them.
Yeah. Welcome back to Nittany Talk. Today, we have a very special guest joining us. The Donald P. Bellisario College of Communications Dean Marie Hardin is here. Dean Hardin, thank you so much for joining us.
I am so excited to be here.
Yeah, we're super excited to have you. So let's get started. What are some things that made you decide to be a dean in a college?
Well, let me back up just a little bit. I actually joined the Bellisario College back in 2003. Yes, you know, maybe before you were born even. I was here as an assistant professor in the journalism department, and I was an assistant professor, and then I was promoted. I became an associate dean, and then in 2014, the dean who was here retired, and he had been mentoring me. And so when he retired, I just was able to step right into the role, and it's been a fantastic. I mean, it's such a great job, and it's because I get to work with students all the time.
Yeah, so you just basically like stepped right in. You knew exactly what you were doing. That's awesome.
Yeah, it was fun.
So what was so your job before this was a professor?
Yep, absolutely.
And did you like doing that, or do you like this like better?
I love working with students. When I became a dean, one of my goals was to spend quality time with at least one student a day, because as a dean, you can get involved in a lot of things that don't involve students.
For sure.
But for me, the reason I decided I wanted to be in higher education was because I wanted to work with students. So I never want to lose that contact with students. So I do love teaching, but as a dean, I get to help faculty be great teachers, and then I also get to do fun things like this with students.
See, I love that. You get like the best of both worlds.
Exactly.
I love that.
Yes.
So that actually leads into my next question. What are some of the fun activities that you enjoy doing with students?
Things like this, honestly.
Yeah.
I love coming over to the media center and interacting with students as they are doing their creative work in the media center. I love it when students visit me in my office and they want to talk about their career hopes. They want to show me their resumes. I also love it when students send me their work and they want me to take a look at it. I love doing that. I love visiting students in the field. It's just all of that, getting to see students do great things. And I know that they're going to go out with the education we give them and on to great lives and careers. I can't tell you how much fun that is for me.
And I know students definitely are like, oh yeah, Dean Hardin really helped me. So I think that's like a really great like honor you get to have as well.
Oh, thank you. I appreciate that.
It really is. So what is one of your favorite things about Penn State or the Bellisario College?
Well, one of my favorite thing about Penn State is the Bellisario College.
Yeah, of course.
Even though there are lots of other things that I love about Penn State. You know, I really think that this is a uniquely special place. I think has a lot of power. I think the alumni network is incredible.
Absolutely.
When it comes to the college, I think we have a special student in the college. I think that Bellisario students are different from students in other colleges in some key ways. I think Bellisario students they want to be engaged.
Yeah.
They want to be, they're doers. They want to, they're not ones to sit with a pile of books.
Yeah.
They want to get out there and experience things and create. I love that.
I think that's the cool part. Like just something like this, like we're able to just sit down and like we can bring in guests and stuff like that, and we're creating and we're not just sitting there studying like you said. Like I know several other colleges are like the students are just like, oh, I have to study for this, and I'm like, oh, I have a show to go to tonight. Like there's a lot to do here. I mean, there's the Collegian, there's shows, there's all kinds of different like opportunities, and I think that's so cool, and especially like that you can be a part of them as well.
Yes.
I think that's like super, super fun.
Yes, and I do want to add, I'm not saying that Bellisario students don't study.
Of course, we all study.
But they study and they get out there and create.
Yes,
right? It's
for
both.
sure. I think that's a big part of being like a journalism major or film or PR or something like that. That's part of the learning experience for sure. And I think that's one of the cool things about being able to be in the Bellisario College.
Agreed.
So what is your favorite sporting event? I hear that you love sports.
I do love sports. Actually, I came to the college as a faculty member to help start the John Curley Center for Sports Journalism.
Did you?
Yes, and I developed a course that's pretty popular now called Sports Media and Society. I was the first professor in the college to teach that course. So yes, I love sports.
That's so awesome.
Yeah, I will tell you that there are a few sports that I don't like to watch or to play.
Yeah.
I'm active myself as a runner, and I love to play golf, even though I'm terrible at golf. I love to play it. Yep, and I love to watch. I love to watch all sports. To me, probably the most fun I have is going to volleyball matches. I love watching women's volleyball and men's volleyball. Yes.
Do you go to like football games and stuff?
I do go to football games.
Yeah.
I'll either watch them at home or I'll go to the game. and those are lots of fun.
Oh yeah. I haven't been to any other sporting events except for I've been to one basketball game, but I've been to football and no volleyball. But I'll have to check volleyball out. I heard it's really cool.
It is in rec hall. It gets loud.
Oh my God.
People are into it. It's you love it.
I've seen videos of it and it's really, really cool. So that's really awesome. Now, what do you believe is good for like students to do here? So do you think it's good for them to be involved in both classes and clubs, or do you think it's good for them to just be like more the studious type? Like, what do you think would be like some suggestions that you have for students?
Yeah, I really think students need to take advantage of the many opportunities that we offer. And I will tell you this. I tell students that college is the time to college is a time where you get to explore. And I like to say college is the time to try things and to quit if you don't like them.
Yeah.
So get involved, try things, and if it's not something you want to do, then guess what? You get to quit. And you don't always get to do that the rest of your life, right? So, and I would also tell you, college is a time to learn what you really love, and also, just as importantly, to learn what you don't love and what you don't want to end up doing.
For sure.
So to do that, you need to sort of try a lot of things. So that's what I would encourage students to do.
Yeah, I think it's good because then, like, if you don't like a certain major, you can just be like, hey, I'm going to switch colleges, or I'm going to go undecided until my sophomore year. When then I can be like, oh yeah, this is what I want to focus in. You get to like try a little bit of everything. So I really like that.
Exactly.
Outside of work, what do you enjoy doing? Like, what are some hobbies and interests that you have?
My favorite thing is I love to go running.
Really?
Yes, I've done a lot of marathons. I've done about 30 marathons.
Oh my God, that's so amazing.
Yeah, and there's, to me, a great weekend day is I get up and I take myself on a nice long run on a local trail. There are great trails.
The trails?
In State College. Yes, the trail system here is incredible.
You don't like to run like on the treadmill or anything? Like, you like outside?
No, treadmill's boring. I want to be outside.
I agree. I think the treadmill's boring. Outside is like so cool because you can like see all the trees and the animals and everything. I think that's so awesome.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Yes.
That's amazing. Do you have any like other like hobbies you like to do? Like, do you spend time with family?
I do. I like to. Obviously, I love to travel.
Yeah.
I do have family here. I love to read. I don't know. I love to come over here to the media center and see what people are doing.
Oh my gosh.
So,
yeah. What's your favorite vacation spot? Since you said you love to travel.
Favorite vacation spot. Well. Boy, that's a tough one. I love. I'm a city person,
okay.
So I love places like Paris.
Oh my God.
And New York and L.A.
I love LA.
But on the other hand, I do love to travel out west in Arizona and be in the desert and go hiking with my husband, that sort of thing too.
I think that's cool because it's like you get the city, but then you still get to like do, and that includes like running and stuff, just like you said was like a big passion of yours.
Exactly.
I love that.
Exactly.
So for our final question, what is one piece of like really good advice that you would give to a student to be successful here? That's not like necessarily like kind of for school, but like what?
Yeah,
would you say?
No, I thought this is going to be a really simple piece of advice, but I want to make sure I encourage students to do this. See your advisor.
It really is so simple, but it's so true.
Yes, and Bellisario College has great advisors.
Yes, we do.
See your advisor, because then you can pivot and you can go different directions, and if you want to change your majors, it's not going to keep you from getting your degree in 4 years if that's what you want to do.
Yes, I totally agree. I think seeing your advisor is great advice. Well, thank you so much, Dean Hardin, for coming out. We really enjoyed having you.
Boy, have I enjoyed this.
Oh, I'm so glad.
Yes.
That's all we have for this episode. Thank you so much for tuning in tonight. For Nittany Talk, I'm Ashley Mascaro, and we'll see you next week.